So this next series of videos is going to be about the shopping cart functionality of this particular example. So one of the main uses for session arrays or variables, if you like, is shopping carts. So a good example is, say, eBay or maybe Amazon or something like that, where you can add products to your shopping cart or your virtual shopping cart and then keep browsing and then go to the checkout when you want, and those items you've pressed add to cart on will be there. So before we move into it, I'll just demonstrate what actually is going to be created. So we'll log in and it redirects to index, which I've gone ahead and created. You can see index is really just a table or a bunch of tables with products from the products table in our database in it with an add to cart button. And then we can click view cart when we're ready to move further. You can also sort the products by name, alphabetically if you like, and price. You could probably sort them in reverse order from highest to lowest or lowest to highest and things like that if you want to, but I'm not going to because I want to save some time, and if you can do it that way, then you can do it the other way as well. So let's hit add to cart on a couple of products. Let's try and add the same product twice, and you can see if I try and do that, it says item already added. And the reason for that is we don't want to add the same item twice. We could simply change the quantity on the next page instead. So let's go ahead and look at the next page. So there's our current shopping cart on our cart.php page. And we can do things like remove an item, or we can update the quantity, say 5 for Chang, and you can see that the price or the subtotal updates based on that. So we want to continue shopping, we can go back to do that, and we can add some Uncle Bob's organic dried pears, tasty. And they'll be added as well. When we're ready to actually commit to buying the products that we've selected, we can hit the proceed to checkout button, which will actually insert into the database. Normally, what would happen is you would hit proceed to checkout and you would go to another page, like a checkout page where you might enter billing and payment information and address and things like that. And then after you've completed that process and entered perhaps your credit card details or however you're paying, maybe PayPal, then it would insert into the database after that. I'm not going to do that in this example because I think this, if you can get to this point, then you can probably do that pretty easily. So I'm not going to do that in this example, as I said. As I mentioned, the proceed to checkout button on this example does the inserting into the database in, for example, our orders table and order details table, which we'll go across and have a look at now. So early on in these videos, I mentioned that when we created the users table, it wasn't related to any of the other tables. So what I've gone ahead and done is related the user ID on the users table to the customer ID on the orders table, and removed the customers table relation because I don't want to use it. Because I thought it'd be easier to create a users table from scratch for this example. So what happens when I press proceed to checkout is a few things are inserted into a couple of tables. So our orders table, we insert into that. We also insert into the order details table with some SQL. If you're wondering why we've got an orders table and an order details table, let's go have a look at why that might be the case. So say, for example, the order I just placed was this last row here, and it's only got one order ID, but as you see, I ordered 7 products or 3 different items. Now, if I didn't have an order details table, then we would have a whole lot more rows depending on the number of items that the user orders, which is not as efficient as it could be. So this Northwind database, when I imported it, it came normalized and pretty ready to go. So let's have a look at order details for that order ID 10487. And you'll see that there'll be several rows for that order ID here. So those 3 items are there. So it creates multiple rows or records in the order details table, but they're out of the orders table for efficiency. And you can see also the product ID that we've ordered, or the different product IDs that we've ordered, and the quantity as well. So this will probably be one of the most challenging aspects of this example. And in fact, it's probably one of the most challenging aspects of digital solutions in general, in my opinion, or at least the coded components parts. So we'll move on to the next video where we'll go about creating the index page and see how we go from there.